The beginning of the film shows a hospital in 1993 where a lady doctor is recording a patient named Gabriel. She says that my patient is very strange. He is growing very fast. He also has a lot of powers. The recording was still going on when the doctor's companion came in. He says that Gabriel is trying to escape again. He is beating the door hard. Hearing this, the doctor quickly runs towards the room with him. She sees a strange scene in the hospital. There was chaos everywhere, as if people are running away from something. Some doctors went to Gabriel's room with the guard. The guard had an unconscious gun. She wanted to make Gabriel unconscious, but Gabriel also attacks the other doctors. He holds the guard's arm and breaks it badly, due to which his bone comes out. Then he breaks all the hospital lights with his dangerous powers. In the meantime, the doctor picks up the gun. She shoots Gabriel, due to which he became unconscious, and they quickly tied him to the chair. As soon as Gabriel regains consciousness, he stands in front of the doctor and his companion. He had kept him far away, because he was dangerous as well as ugly. Here the doctor starts scolding him, as if he were a child. She says that you are very bad, and Gabriel also starts screaming like a child. He started getting angry. Along with that, a scary, evil voice started coming from the radio, which was not anyone else's, but Gabriel's. He was threatening them. He says that I will not spare anyone. I will kill you all. Seeing this, the doctor's companion was quite surprised. He says, "How can this be? Oh my God, he is also able to speak." And he controlled the radio and talked to us through it. Then she tells the doctors that Gabriel has such powers that, with their help, he can do a lot of strange things. Now the doctor and his companion go to the other room, where the corpses of their hospital staff were lying scattered. Seeing this, both were quite worried. And now the doctor says that the time has come to end this problem. Now the scene shifts to a couple, whose wife's name is Madison. Here we found out that, for the past few days, the relationship between the two has not been very good, because they had been married for many years. But Madison's child was not born. Every time she was about to become a mother, her child died in the womb. Because of this, she started getting so worried that she became irritable. Her husband's anger was also high. This is the reason they used to fight. Even today, these two husbands and wives were arguing about the same thing. Madison's husband got angry, and he pushed her hard, because of which she hit the wall, and she started bleeding from the wound on her head. Seeing this, her husband got scared and quickly runs out of the room to get the medical kit so that she can treat her. But Madison quickly closes the door to the room and locks herself inside. Actually, Madison was tired of her husband because he was a cruel husband. Often he used to hit her for small things. Anyway, he comes to the door and asks Madison to open the door. But she does not open the door, even after asking for coffee. That's why her husband has to spend the night outside the room. When he was sleeping on the sofa, he felt as if someone was present in the kitchen. When he went to check, he was surprised. The mixer machine was running there. The fridge was also open. And the TV was also on. While watching all this, a black shadow comes from behind her and attacks her. He catches her and hits her head on the wall. Madison suddenly opens her eyes. And here we understood that whatever happened was Madison's dream. She was very scared. She was worried about her husband, so she quickly opens the door of the room and comes out to see her husband. But when she saw what she saw in front of her, she fainted. Her husband's dead body was lying there. He was also in very bad condition. That black shadow had killed him and thrown him here. Blood was spilling everywhere, due to which Madison's condition gets worse. She was looking at her husband's dead body. That's when the same black shadow comes out from behind. And he started moving towards Madison to attack her. She is very scared. She starts running quickly. Before she attacks Madison, she puts her hand on the door and stands up. Then that black shadow comes there and tries to break the door. Madison tries to stop the door, but that shadow keeps breaking through the door. Now, quickly, Madison fell down with the door and fainted there too. In the next scene, Madison comes to her senses in the hospital. When she opened her eyes, her sister was sitting in front of her, who first asks about the condition of Madison. That you are fine. Then she tells her that there are two bad news stories. One is that because of this incident, 15 children were killed in your womb, and the second bad news is that your husband could not survive. He also died a painful death. For Madison, there were a lot of sad things. That's why she starts crying. She feels a lot of trauma. That's why when detectives or police officers come here to interrogate her, Madison is not able to answer their questions. That's why the detective goes to the lab in charge to get answers to the questions. Then she tells her husband that there are fingerprints on his dead body, which are not of anyone else but of Madison, and it is possible that Madison did not kill her husband because he used to torture her. After this, Madison's sister takes her to her house. When she was standing near the window of her room at night, the lights outside her house seemed to be burning strangely. Seeing this, Madison was very scared. And then she sees that black shadow there. She was so scared that she ran away and closed all the doors and windows of her house. After that, all the lights were turned off. But then she was very happy to see that the door opened on its own. She was scared. She quickly ran to her room and locked the door. This night passed like this. Nothing happened. So the next day, when Madison woke up, she got an idea to escape. She took a drill machine and started her work. That is, she starts putting door locks on every door. The next day, Madison's sister came to meet her. Here, we found out that they are not real sisters. They are not related by blood. In fact, when Madison was 8 years old, her stepsister's mom and dad adopted her. And what happened before 8 years? Madison did not remember anything. She had forgotten everything. Now we see a woman who was a tour guide. That is, she used to help people travel underground in a city. And she used to guide them all the way. Even now, she is telling her customers about a luxurious city. After the tour is over, everyone gives her money and starts going from there. Now, when she was coming to one place and finishing her work, suddenly all the lights in that place started to turn off. And as soon as she saw it, the lights started to turn off. The tour guide thinks that there is someone there. So, she started going there to check. When she looked at the roof, there was a gigantic creature sitting there. Seeing this, she was very scared. Before anyone could understand anything, he came down from the roof and attacked her suddenly. Now that the tour guide has come to his senses, she finds herself in a strange place. There was a radio here, which looked like the radio in the beginning, and it had the same evil voice that we heard in the beginning. And because that voice was that of Gabriel, it does not take long to understand that this creature is no one else but Gabriel. Then he came to the tour guide, and he did not feel that very soon I would kill you too. But before I deal with you, I have to deal with that lady doctor. Now, when that lady doctor was in her house, she got a call from Gabriel, and he reminds her that I am the same patient whom you imprisoned. You were scolding like a child. He tells everything about himself, but the lady doctor does not understand, because she does not recognize that this is Gabriel. Then, after disconnecting the call, she came to her office and started looking for a file. She also found that file, from which a picture of a small girl comes out. She was about 8 years old. The medicine was in her house. When she opens the machine to wash clothes, she gets scared and goes back, with which the house of medicine changes completely and turns into the house of the lady doctor. That is, she had reached the doctor's house. Here too, the medicine sees that black shadow, which is no one else but Gabriel. He grabs the lady doctor by the hair and hits him hard on the ground. Then he picks up the doctor again and hits him here and there. But the doctor got up and started running. Gabriel also followed him. The one who had a trophy in his hand grabbed the doctor and attacked him with the tip of the trophy. Then he attacked him many times. He crushed his head and kept it, which makes the doctor's face very painful. The medicine of the heart was very scared. She starts screaming loudly, with which her thought was over, and she goes back to her house. Even now, she finds herself sitting on the floor of her house. Here she felt a strange time on her head. As soon as she touched it and checked, blood was coming out of her head, and the detective and the lab in charge went to the house of the lady doctor, because they had heard about the death of the doctor. And when he came to check, his death was exactly the same as the medicine had seen in his imagination, which Gabriel had hit the doctor. His head was crushed. Here, they also get the file that the doctor saw after Gabriel's call, in which there was a picture of an 8-year-old girl. That picture was also touched by the detective, which he gives to an artist, saying that you will take this girl's picture in the next 30 years, and then show us her print. How does her face look after 30 years? Here, the lab in charge tells the detective that she was a lady doctor. She was a doctor for children, and she was very good at operating on children's surgeries, because of which she was also very famous. Now, Gabriel comes back to his place, where he brought the trophy of his head from the house of the doctor, the sharp one, with which he had hit the doctor, with the help of which he was making his weapon. When he was ready for the weapon, he tested it on the tour guide to make his aim better. When the doctor saw this, she was very sad, and because she was very tired, she goes to her bed and lies down, where she starts thinking again. In this thought, she sees the lady doctor's companion, who was lying on his bed and resting, when Gabriel comes to him, who was holding the sharp weapon of the trophy. He comes very close to the doctor and sits down. As soon as the doctor saw him, he screams. Then Gabriel takes that sharp weapon, puts it in his face. After screaming, he puts it in his chest, and such a doctor dies. Seeing this thought, the medicine was very scared. Her eyes opened, where she was screaming loudly. Here she sees Gabriel's face for the first time, which was very scary and ugly. Seeing how her condition got so bad that she immediately gets up and starts screaming. She finds herself in her room, where, after coming out of the thought, there was blood on her pillow. Now I'm listening to her scream. Her sister immediately came here. After a long time, she's having a lot of scary thoughts. And whatever I see in my thoughts, it always comes true. After which, these two sisters went to the police station. Here, they met the detective and the lab in charge. This is medicine. She also tells them that my scary thoughts have come true. I have seen the death of the lady doctor's companion a few days ago, which happened in the building opposite the hospital, where she used to live. Now that I'm listening to this, these people go to her house quickly, where you really get the corpse of the doctor's companion. She was exactly the same as she had seen in her imagination. Like Gabriel had attacked her pillow. Her pillow was in bad condition, and the whole bed was covered in blood. After seeing this, the detective and the lab in charge were very scared. After which, she goes back to the police station. Medicine and her sister tell her that you stay at the police station for a while. You have to do some research. Now, when the medicine goes to the washroom, she gets a call from an unknown number, which was Gabriel's, in which he says that I will keep your name with my own will, because you are my sister. I am your brother. I have returned after 30 years to take revenge on you and me, in which I will kill innocent and sinful people. Listening to this, I was very scared. She came to her sister, and these two immediately go to the police station. After their departure, the detective starts looking at the file sent by the artist, in which he had changed the picture of the child. Here, we are very surprised to see that, in the 30 years ahead, by changing the picture of that child, Medicine's face comes in front. Now, he reads this file again, where he found out that Medicine's stepmother, to get him treated, had admitted him to the hospital of the lady doctor. This lady doctor is now dead, where Medicine's treatment, along with that lady doctor, was done by her two companions. But now that the lady doctor and one of her companions are dead, so the third doctor, who was still alive, she could tell the truth to the detective. With the same thought, the detective goes to meet the doctor. Medicine and his sister reach their mother. When the Medicine was left, he had a good friend, whose name was Gabriel. He had to tell that the Medicine is thinking again, in which she sees Gabriel near the third doctor, who had come to kill the doctor, when he was lying in the bathtub and bathing. In the meantime, the detective also came here. He was facing the gun, was moving towards the doctor. But then Gabriel comes from above and attacks him and puts him down. By taking advantage of this, Gabriel tries to attack him again and again, but every time he survives. Then the detective attacks him and throws him away, and the bullet inside him starts screaming at him, but Gabriel somehow runs away from here. Although the detective followed him, but still, he could not touch him. Now the doctor's life is saved, but this Medicine comes out of his mind. The next day, the detective and the lab in charge bring a mental health doctor with them, so that he can do therapy, so that he can open up the old memories of the Medicine, which he has forgotten everything. During the therapy, the Medicine tells that when I was young, because of Gabriel's actions, I used to get scolded. He used to make me work upside down. With whom the Medicine tells a story of her childhood. One day, Gabriel called me, who told me to close my eyes. There is a cake in front of you, which you cut with a big knife, and give it to your mother. But when I opened my eyes, and Gabriel was telling me that you cut your mother's stomach, so that the child in your mother's stomach dies, then my mother opened her eyes. And when she saw me like this, she starts screaming. Now in the present time, when the Medicine is telling me these things, she was also screaming. And that tour guide who was caught by Gabriel, she somehow frees herself from his captivity and ran away from there. She is looking for a way out, but then her foot hit the floor, now where the Medicine and other people were sitting. The floor above breaks, and the tour guide falls down from there, by which we can understand Gabriel had imprisoned the tour guide on the floor above the Medicine. In a short while, the police came here to investigate, which arrests the Medicine, because they got Gabriel's clothes and weapons from the floor above, by which everyone thinks that Gabriel is the Medicine, and there is no other Gabriel, and the Medicine is the one who has been living with two personalities since childhood. One is the Medicine, while the other is her imaginary friend Gabriel. But here, the detective does not agree with this. He was lost in thought, because he had seen Gabriel at the third doctor's house, other than the Medicine. After the arrest, the detective and the lab in charge started interrogating the Medicine, where she tells Gabriel is very dangerous. The interrogation was going on. At that time, Gabriel's call comes to the detective, who now tells himself, yes, I am the imaginary friend of Medicine. Because of this, all the nearby bulbs break. And now, the Medicine is in the cell. The stepsister of the Medicine, she gets the address of the hospital from her mom, where the Medicine was admitted for treatment in childhood. The hospital of this lady doctor, now this hospital is closed, but her sister had faith that something will be found there. So with this faith, she goes to the hospital. When she came to the hospital, she started checking there. She brings the Medicine home with her. After checking those recordings, her sister found out that is the real mother of Medicine, and no one else, but a tour guide. Yes, because of falling from the floor, was injured, and now she is admitted to the hospital. After checking the recording, she sees that a strange creature was attached to the backside of the Medicine. Then here in the recording, it was none other than Gabriel. She says that when the medicine was born, then we wanted to separate them by doing the operation, so the medicine was easily separated, but her brother's death did not happen. He was born like such a creature, and half of it was attached to him. And because both had the same brain and backbone, so we did not remove all of Gabriel from the medicine. But as much as we could remove, we removed only that much, and left the rest inside, because the life of such a medicine could be in danger, so we operated on his brain and burned it, so that half of Gabriel was left inside. Here, the doctor also tells Gabriel was a special kind of child. He had unique powers. He could control the surrounding signals and waves. That's why he controlled the radio signals. And said in the beginning, that I will kill you all. Then one day, Gabriel controlled the medicine and destroyed the hospital. In the beginning, and the problem that the doctor was talking about, it was none other than Gabriel. He was able to remove half of it, but he was unable to separate the brain. Gabriel was always in the medicine's brain, and when the medicine looks at Gabriel in thought, it is actually Gabriel's brain, because both had the same brain, just the medicine. And that day, when his husband hit him from the wall, when his blood started coming out of his head, that day, Gabriel woke up again. After seeing all these recordings, his sister goes to meet the detective, so that she can tell the whole truth. When Gabriel was in the cell, the rest of the girls in the cell started harassing him, after which she started hitting him. This made the medicine sick. His mouth and head started bleeding. The surrounding lights also started getting damaged. Here for the first time, we can see this horrific scene, that the medicine's head is tearing, and Gabriel is coming out, who completely controls the medicine, and she herself starts tearing her head off. Seeing this, all the girls are in a bad state. She starts screaming out of fear. Gabriel was in control. She goes to a girl and hits her on the neck, due to which his blood started coming out. Then one by one, whoever was coming to him very easily, she picks everyone up and throws them. She broke one arm. Then she puts her hand in someone's stomach. Then she picks him up and throws him away. Then she drops a girl. She puts her foot on his head and gives him peace. She turns around and comes to him. She drops him. And like this, one by one, Gabriel comes out. He takes his clothes and weapons and leaves. The doctor's sister calls the detective and tells him everything, but the detective doesn't understand anything. What is she trying to say? Now the detective and the lab are in charge. Went to the cell, where they also face Gabriel, who also attacks them. He was far away, due to which they both got injured. And Gabriel runs away from here. In the meantime, the medicine sister also came. Then the lab in charge immediately told him to go to the hospital where the tour guide is. That is, the medicine's mother was admitted, because that was Gabriel's next target. When he reached the hospital, Gabriel injures his sister too. He also attacks a guard's chest and kills him too, and now he goes to the medicine's mother's room. Here, the medicine's mother apologizes to him. Please forgive me. I admit my mistake. Yes, I shouldn't have separated you, because you were also my son. I should have loved you too. But now, please forgive my mistake. He was listening to his mother carefully, and listening to her. He lowers the weapon. His words were about to be spoken. That's when the detective comes in and starts shooting him. But the medicine's sister, the detective, starts refusing to do this, which made Gabriel angry and died. Now the medicine was able to see everything from the other side, but nothing could be done to save her, because she was controlled by Gabriel. After which, the medicine's sister picks up the gun and turns it towards Gabriel and starts saying, "Get out of here. She is my sister." Hearing this, Gabriel got angry. He says, "No, she is not your sister." Saying this, he picks up the bed and throws it towards her. And here, the medicine's sister is buried under that bed. Then he came to her and said, "I've wanted to kill you since childhood. But every time, you were saved." Here, his sister calls out to the medicine and asks for help, and starts provoking the medicine against Gabriel so that she can get control over Gabriel. She says that Gabriel is the one because of whom you are not able to become a mother. Whenever you are about to become a mother, he kills your child in the stomach. Hearing this, the medicine got very angry, and now she's trying to get control over Gabriel. After this, we see that Gabriel shot the medicine woman's sister with a gun. First killed her, then she strangled the medicine's mother. After this, Gabriel gets the medicine in front of him, because the medicine finally got control over his mind. And now, everything was happening according to him. That is, the medicine's sister and his mother's deaths was just a thought, which the medicine was now showing Gabriel, as he used to show the medicine first, because his mother and sister were actually alive, here for the first time. She puts her eyes in Gabriel's eyes and talks to him. She started saying that my body and mind only my right, and now only my control will be on the scene. And next time, if you do not control me again, then listen. I am also ready for it. She did not say anything, so that the medicine's open head was closed, and she came back to her senses, and now she took Gabriel out of her and locked him in jail forever. When she came to her senses, she sits down and takes out her sister, who had been suppressed there for a long time, but fortunately she was alive after saving her life. The medicine hugs her. She started saying that not only blood relations, but the people who live with you take care of you, and you are my sister. You will always be, no doubt. Our blood is not the same. I will always love you. You are my very good sister. While saying this, both sisters became emotional and start crying by hugging each other. Her mother was also very happy to see her, because now she was free from Gabriel, and she will always spend her life happily. And with this, the story of this film ends. Thanks.